What is the biggest assigned flaw of the human body? Unable to regenerate body parts. You lose an arm or a leg and you can't grow a new one. We can grow hair and nails forever, but not body parts. The fact that I sometimes accidentally eat the inside of my mouth. You can kind of just die at any moment from a brain aneurysm, even if you're perfectly healthy. Nostalgia is the greatest human weakness, only second to the neck. Dwight Schrute, our knees, for sure. They just weren't built to last past 40 years. Surprised nobody said the appendix yet. Yeah, that's kind of a given, considering we get it removed all the time. Eyelashes designed to keep things out of your eyes, but they just fall in anyway. I have an autoimmune disease. Stupid thing, it's hurting its own body. The fact that the human body wears out and will cease to function eventually. How old are you, and what's your biggest problem right now? I am 24, and my biggest problem is that there aren't enough hours in the day to get everything I want done. 55, live alone, work 100% from home, and have no friends and family. It'd be lonely. 61F, relationship heartache and likely to be let go from work. I'm too old for either of these when 6 years away from retirement. 42 and trying to figure out which of my problems is the biggest. I'm going with finances and depression. 74 and don't really have any problems other than knowing my time is limited. Don't buy any green bananas. Guess I might die before they have time to ripen. It's an old people joke. 49, I'm not interested in anything. Anything? You're not interested in a single thing? Surely. Mid-30s and fighting my brain to stay alive, just barely winning. 31, lost the job, unemployment is getting dry, cannot find new work. 32, and my newborn daughter passed away. Almost 54, money for the future, my adult children, my husband's health, anxiety, and depression. 31, grief, anxiety, money, never being able to afford a home, and by extension, claw my way out of poverty. I have more money now than I ever did in my life, and it still won't get me anywhere. 31, and I'm skint with no friends and nothing to look forward to. 40s, and I drink too much and need to lose weight. I only drank 3 times in February, and I've increased my daily walks, so I'm working on it. Hell yeah, dude! Good job. Proud of you. The job I was hired at still hasn't given me a start date, and my saved money is really starting to run thin. Wow, starting this off with a really bright and positive question, huh? Oh boy. I'm 60. My biggest problem is having to work 50 or 60 or more hours a week just to keep up with the bills. Plus I have a bedridden wife with cancer and we're raising our oldest grandson. As Sergeant Murtaugh once said, I'm getting too old for this stuff. What's an unwritten rule about the road that new drivers should know? Try to give other drivers as much information as possible. Always use your turn signals even in the turn lane. People have no way of knowing if you're actually about to turn or not. Don't cut corners. I've nearly had head-on collisions because people can't just slow down a little and turn into the lane properly. Keep your cool. Road rage kills. Yeah, man. If you're mad, there are people out there way madder than you, and they have guns. And you will die if you come across the wrong person in a road rage incident. Speed up to match the speed before you try and merge onto a highway. They give you plenty of room on the exit. You have plenty of room. Put your blinker on before you start to brake. Nothing drives me nuts like people who come to a full stop on a one-lane road and then put the blinker on while we wait for passing traffic. Always leave yourself a way out. Always know what's around you. Know what cars are behind you or in the lane next to you. That way, if you feel you have to change lanes quickly, you know whether you can or can't. Green means legal, not safe. Assume everyone is a moron trying to crash into you. What screams, I have no life? Only ever talking badly about other people. Had some coworkers like this once, and being around them for 8 hours a day was forking draining. The guy in my office who monitors how long everyone has been away from their computer. If that's not their job and they're just being a stiff ass, frick them, dude. Forget them. Calling cops on kids with a lemonade stand. Imagine. I could never even imagine running into somebody like that. Posting everything about your personal business and drama on social media. As a parent with kids in school, definitely the Facebook moms group. Trying to look tough on the internet. Being a mean girl ever, but especially past high school. People who spend their days arguing with strangers on Facebook. Yeah, I deleted my Facebook months ago. Now I just argue with people on Twitter. It's a little more fun. People who obsessively post their life or relationships on Instagram. Being way too invested into the life of the reality TV stars. Making fun of other people's hobbies. What is the biggest unsolved mystery in human history? An active one in the archaeology world is the exact time frame of when humans made it to the Americas. The date keeps getting pushed back with more controversial discoveries that then just turn to evidence as they pile up. It's a fascinating story to see unfold. In Australia in 2011, someone broke into a TV station and spent 4 hours flushing $100,000 down the toilet. Well, yeah, I mean, mean, that makes sense. Isn't Australian money plastic and doesn't get wet? You just flush it down the toilet and then there's someone else at the bottom of the sewer drain picking up all the money, right? I read these threads and wonder how many disappeared people are homeless transients with no memory of who they are. There must be considerable overlap, I imagine. Neither medicine nor science has an answer for what consciousness is or where it originates. Why did we all just globally decide that those blue Dutch cookie tins hold sewing supplies? You know, if enough grandmas start doing it, it's gonna catch on. How the universe is even possible? Why the fork do we even exist? What was there before the Big Bang? The theory show said it correctly. Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state, and then it blew up. Why is the letter D in fridge, but not in refrigerator? Why does Donald Duck put a towel around his waist when he gets out of the shower if he doesn't wear pants? To dry himself off. What celebrity, be it a musician, actor, athlete, etc., did you stop liking or supporting because of their personal life choices? Well, Bill Cosby for one. He used to work as a camera operator in film or TV for about 15 years. Trust me, you do not want to meet your heroes. R. Kelly, even before the accusations against him, I thought he was a gifted musician with a great voice. I could never listen to his music again. Chris Brown. I had the biggest crush on him as a preteen and teenager. I grew up not too far from his hometown, so it was really cool to see someone from my area gain massive success. But between the domestic violence with Rihanna and Kirushi Tran, I'm done. As a woman, I just can't continue to support. I was offered a free ticket to a concert of his a few years ago and I turned it down. Any Scientologist. Jared Leto. Loved his music and most of his acting roles. Then I found out he's essentially a cult leader through his fan club, and most likely a kid diddler. Ezra Miller. That's why I listened to Better Than Ezra Miller. Jared from Subway. Travis Scott for inciting a riot where people died and recently assaulting an audio engineer. Leah Michelle. Dr. Phil. Because, well, Dr. Phil. Kanye West. His mom dying sent him on a road to ruin. I miss the old Kanye. I think we all do. But I'll never listen to a single song of his ever again. Not after everything. James Franco is one of the latest. Turned out to be a dirtbag. Marilyn Manson. Turns out he is just really awful. Sometimes it's the person you most suspect. Ellen Drake. He is a whiny man-child when things don't go his way who grooms underage girls. He is like the Matt Gaetz of hip-hop and rap. Oh wow, that's a really, really good comparison. Gene Simmons. Terrible guy. He's a misogynist, will do anything for a buck and is really creepy plus other things. What's the best insult you've ever heard? Teacher of mine said to a classmate once who kept making the most asinine contributions to the conversation, "You make it really difficult to underestimate you." The guy had no idea what it meant. He thought it was a compliment. When I was in high school, one of my classmates gave our teacher a typical "your mom" response to a question without realizing that the teacher's mom had just died. Without missing a beat, the teacher said, "Leave my mother out of this. I don't make fun of your parents, and look what they produced." Damn! Holy crap! Context aside, someone told me I look like I go to the park to punch birds. That's so funny. That's really good. 16-year-old me trying to convince my dad to take my friends and I to see American Pie. Dad, so what is it about? Me, a group of high school friends trying to lose their virginity. Dad, I can stay home and see that. I was at a pool in Vegas and wearing a straw cowboy hat with my shirt open. One friend said, "Damn, how can you not get laid with that outfit today?" Other friend said, "Don't worry, he'll show us." I bet your parents change the subject when their friends ask about you. Aw, man. They need a recipe for making ice cubes. You're not the dumbest person I've ever met, but you better hope he doesn't die. You eat corn the long way. Aggressively takes notes in order to sound witty and original next time I'm in an argument. Yo, mama's so slow. It took her 9 months to come up with a joke. It's impossible to underestimate you. I hope you have the day you deserve. What TV show or movie is basically just propaganda? Castaway, the longest FedEx commercial and smartest ever made. The Wizard, but to be fair, Super Mario Bros. 3 is the stuff. Top Gun, Titanic. It's just pure anti-iceberg propaganda. The iceberg was just minding its own business when Captain Smith just practically rams into it at full steam ahead. Mulan, the live action one. Undercover Boss. Good job, you give a sweet old lady money for her dying husband. Maybe try paying your employees a living wage. Not movie or show, but the story to any of the Call of Duty games always screams propaganda to me. What is the first thing you do when you get home? Take stuff out of my pockets, change and take the dog out. Why do you keep shit in your pockets? Take off my shoes and my bra. I put on my wizard hat and robe. Take off my shoes and put my wife's bra fun. You're a good man. Kiss my cat who meets me at the door. Change into comfy clothes and pour a cup of coffee. Hype up the dog. Take off my human suit and message my real race about your weaknesses. Well, why would you confess that? Now we're suspicious. I remove any unnecessary commas. I air out my nuts in front of a box fan. Greet my kid with a respectable handshake. Put on fat pants. What TV series was actually good through its entire run? Gravity Falls. Mindhunter ended too soon. R.I.P. The Batman animated series. The IT Crowd. The Good Place. I love that it's a complete story that doesn't feel like it wastes any screen time. It's pretty close to perfect. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. There are slow moments, but almost everything in both shows seems purposeful. Freaks and Geeks. Unfortunately, there was only one season. Malcolm in the Middle. 6 Feet Under is really good. Fleabag. Pure perfection. I look like a pencil. I don't know what that's in context to. I've never seen the show. Futurama. Show me the person who doesn't love the comedy from every season. This is definitely on my watch list. I also have never seen Futurama before in my entire life. What TV series did everybody like but you? Seinfeld is one of the worst shows to ever hit the airwaves. Parks and Rec and The Office just bored me to tears. My friends kept saying, give it a chance, it gets really good in season X, blah, 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 blah. My response? Community had me hooked by the second episode. Bring your A game or go home. I'm not sticking around for 30 plus episodes of filler. The Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, boring and tedious. Seinfeld, probably gotta be from New York to appreciate. Anything made by Seth MacFarlane, as he's an unfunny hack of a comedian. Stranger Things, Ozark, Big Bang Theory, Breaking Bad, Mad Men, Game of Thrones, Dexter, Seinfeld, Sex and the City. The list goes on apparently. I didn't think The Sopranos was as good as people claim. The Last of Us, only because 1, I wasn't a fan of the game personally, completed it and thought it was okay, but not very fun at all, and the plot boring and dreary. And 2, my wife and her friends will not stop talking about Pedro Pascal. Sounds like someone's a little jealous of big celebrity man that your wife finds attractive. Grow up. BoJack Horseman, normal words, but a horse guy. Community, tried so hard to like it, but it was so meh. The Last of Us TV and video games. I don't dislike it for its quality at all. Just after living through the zombie crazy of the 10s, I'm permanently allergic to zombie anything. What is something people think is a healthy option, but actually isn't? Those stupid juicing detox programs. Your body's liver and kidneys naturally detox your body, so as long as you drink plenty of water, this whole notion that you are detoxing your body with juice is asinine. Sugar sneaks its way into all sorts of healthy foods. Make sure to check the nutrition facts if you're watching for it. I'm looking at you, granola. Low fat or fat-free options. These products often have added sugars and other unhealthy additives to compensate for the lack of fat. In some cases, these options may actually be worse for you than the full-fat versions. Smoothies from smoothie shops. They use sorbets, ice creams, and juices with an insane amount of sugar in them. My sister worked at a smoothie shop and people would always come in after going to the gym. It's not what most people think it is. I think a lot of millennials and Gen Zers are beginning to catch on to how bad it can potentially be, but I think dedicating your life just to work is really unhealthy. I mean, fair enough if you have a job you really enjoy, but even so, if you dedicate almost every waking moment to your job, there is a problem generally. It's not a great attitude, live to work. Cereal bars. They are not a replacement for a meal, and most are loaded with an incredible amount of sugar and artificial ingredients, preservatives, and etc. Juice. Let's be honest, it's not healthier than Diet Coke for people with blood sugar issues. It does have more nutrients in it, but we have to consider the whole picture as well. Bottling up their emotions so others don't have to hear it for most people. Being overly empathetic. Panera Bread. I just had Panera Bread for dinner today. Damn. What is a video game with the deepest, most intense lore? Anything set in the 40K universe. Hundreds of novels, 40 years of game rulebooks, army codexes, art books, etc. Deepest lore franchise I can think of beyond the Star Wars EU. Probably Kirby. That stuff is incomprehensible. As a series, I would put my money on the Elder Scrolls. With the amount of games and more lore getting added to the series, I would say that series has some of the most lore for a video game series. I'm gonna assume anything that's based on D&D. RuneScape has a lot of lore. It's been going on for over 20 years now. Warhammer 40K. Warframe. So complicated, yet no lore breakers so far. No Mass Effect, huh? Pepsi Man. Halo. World of Warcraft. Their lore has its own lore. I'm old. Not finding all the crazy stuff in Zelda will haunt me forever. What movie did you just not get? The Human Centipede. Why they had to make the first one was bad enough, and then they they made 2 more. I never saw the appeal in that movie at all. Tenet. I'm thinking of ending things. I have no idea what that movie is trying to tell me. I recently watched American Psycho for the first time. I honestly had no idea what happened at the end. What was real, what was in his head, any of it. Felt a little better when I saw that nobody really knows for sure online. Not quite as good as I've heard, but it wasn't bad at all. Downsizing. The plot was just bonkers. I didn't get Inception. Grease. It was just jumping from plot to plot. Then they drive/fly into the sky? Traffic. There were so many things going on, it was hard to follow. The second season of Westworld. It got way too complicated for me. Shape of Water. Is that the one where the lady forks the seaman? I mean... the sea creature. What is the creepiest or most unexplained event that you have ever experienced? One car from one direction and another car from the other direction stopped in front of my house. Both drivers got out and gave the other a briefcase. Now that I'm older, I'm guessing it was some kind of drug deal or something, but at the time, I found it very weird. We had a little copper music box that would start playing on its own. It was a man sitting at a piano, and it would play the Entertainer song. Now, I know that music boxes and such can spring, for lack of a better word, forward and play a few notes, but this thing would act like someone had wound it up and would play it for a minute or two completely at random. I was like 8 or 9, boy, in a gas station in West Virginia paying for my dad. Guy standing in line behind me spanked me on the ass with a rolled up newspaper. I looked back at him, he smirked and said, "There's more where that came from." I paid and got the frick out. Creepy as shirt. Ew, that's so weird. Of course it happened in West Virginia though, those freaks that live there. I have no long form explanation to this, but I was sitting in a friend's room one night and we were looking at the sky through the window when all of a sudden a bunch of lights popped up in the sky and started zooming back and forth, like really faint but really big patches of just white on the night sky. Police shootout just behind a street food cart I'm eating in. Driving late at night and tired, suddenly heading straight for a tall stone wall, can still see it. Hit the brakes and simultaneously lay across the torn passenger seat to avoid injury. Car stopped in the middle of a road, no other traffic, no walls nearby. Ever heard bobcats while you're alone in the woods? I try not to be alone in the woods. I have never seen a gorilla in my life, not even in a zoo. I was at a cabin in northern Ontario, Canada, and I heard an absurdly loud could feel the bass in it. Scared the shirt out of me. What is the saddest song ever? You Are My Sunshine gets often mislabeled as a children's song, but if you read the full lyrics, you'll realize how dark of a song it is. Also, Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel. It's a personal choice, but it always gets me. Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Gary, Come Home. Gary, I'm sorry I neglected you. I never expected you to run away. I could go on and on, man. Good song. Who Wants to Live Forever by Queen. Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Israel Kamakawiwo. I really hope I didn't butcher that. I'm sorry. Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. Tears in Heaven. Once you know the backstory, it's hard to dispute. Blink 182, Adam's Song. Everybody Hurts by REM. Remember Me from Coco. Gary Jules, Mad World. Overrated song for sure. Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. Happy Birthday, performed by a group of co-workers in an office building. Wake Me Up When September Ends. Which film that's universally praised do you find utterly repulsive? The Notebook. I don't know if it's universally praised, but I frickin' hate it. Pocahontas. The real John Smith was a frickin' sick bastard, and the true events most definitely weren't a love story at all. Scrolling through some of the comments, one could possibly come to the conclusion that most of the popularity of these movies was the hype and of people just kind of going along with the crowd. I'd agree with that. I'd also agree that the choices of the majority of the movies mentioned. Avatar. All day long. Those blue, miserable twats. I hate Avatar. Not The Last Airbender, but Avatar. The Devil Wears Prada. I just wanted everyone in that movie to die in a fire. Sounds like something you have to, look at yourself, man, because that's kind of messed up. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Anything made with Woody Allen. La La Land. The music is utterly forgettable, and the plot felt like it was written by a bunch of Hollywood executives jerking each other off. I don't think any film is universally praised, but Clockwork Orange is generally well regarded, and I found it vile. I've heard nothing but bad things about Clockwork Orange. Frickin' Elf. Every damn Christmas. To be fair, I can't really stand Will Ferrell in general. Blair Witch Project. I've never been more underwhelmed in my life over a movie. Wonder Woman. I literally couldn't push myself to finish it. Stopped watching after 40 minutes or so. Most Marvel movies. So boring and cheesy. The whole Saw series. The Shape of Water was terrible. I think I'm the only person alive who does not enjoy any Quentin Tarantino movies at all. They're way too exploitative for my taste. What's your party trick? If there are cherries at the function, One, I typically tell people I can tie a cherry stem into a knot in my mouth in under 10 seconds. I've won money betting doing this a number of times, and it's as simple as tying a knot in a cherry stem and putting a try in my cheek before ever mentioning that I can do it. Then I just swap them out and pull the one with the knot out. No one has ever noticed me take the second untied stem out of my mouth. Oh, you dirty liar. That's so funny. Has that gotten you laid before? I've heard that does that. Disappearing. I solve a Rubik's Cube that I found around the house without anyone noticing. And then I never admit to solving it. Sometimes nobody notices. I'm like a crazy party animal, obviously. Me and my friend have a trick we call black magic. I leave the room and the other partygoers tell my friend an object in the room. I then come back and state that I can read my friend's mind and guess the object they told her. My friend starts listing items in the room and I answer no until the actual object comes along. It usually takes people hours to figure out the trick. They think it's always the third object or that it has to do with innotation or a sign of sorts. So we repeat the trick excluding that tell. Makes them go nuts. The trick is in the name. The right object is the one mentioned after a black object. Hey, that's really clever. I'm hypermobile. I'm basically a walking party trick. Being able to explain second cousin once removed. Can somebody explain that to me? Because I don't know what that means. Finding the pet that lives there and spending time with them instead of the people. I used to put a roll of Ritz crackers in my purse. Drunk people lost their minds when I offered them one. Getting invited. So far, I've not had the opportunity to do it. Card tricks. It's been years and someone still wants to know how I made their card appear. What is the one thing you cannot stand the feel of? Wet socks on my feet. Microfiber when it catches your skin. Car roof interiors. I hate it. I don't know what it is. When I accidentally brush my fingernails against it, I want to chew my fingers off and spit them out the window. Not a big fan of rough styrofoam. Lotions. Sucks because I have dry skin and actually need them. Wet food in the sink. Sciatica. Seaweed touching me while I swim. Or mushy bottom lakes. That part of the envelope you wet with your tongue. Yeah, it doesn't feel good, but it, secretly kind of tastes pretty alright. Loose eyelash poking corner of my eye. I can probably go 10 minutes tops before giving up the nuclear codes. When it feels like you need to take that one really deep breath to reset your lungs, but you can never breathe in deep enough. Cotton wool. Makes me feel queasy thinking about it. I can't stand when I can feel breath, even my own breath, on my skin when I'm trying to sleep. I have to block it with the top sheet or a blanket. Teeth touching a disposable wooden spoon. I don't know if I've ever had to use a disposable wooden spoon. How would you spend today if you knew you were going to die tomorrow? Immediately leave work, spend my last hours with loved ones, and eating and drinking my favorite things. And on the less wholesome side, well, I'd probably stop playing games in BlueStacks and I'd go for a walk and I'd buy a lot of plush toys in the local store. Then I'd give one to every child I meet. Unfortunately, glued to a toilet with food poisoning. I would just have dinner with my family and enjoy the moment for what it is. Tomorrow can wait. Without problems plugging my mind for sure, knowing when you'll die sounds like a good idea. Crafting a detailed mind-bending mystery to accompany my death. Guaranteed Netflix documentary. Hey, you know what? At least you won't die forgotten. Sleep. Write letters to my sons for when they're older. I want to go out like the third episode of The Last of Us. Play my favorite video games while listening to music that motivates me. If you could witness any event in history, which one would you choose and why? Woodstock. It would be cool to witness such an event. 99 or 69? 69 to be in the crowd, 99 to watch the news coverage. I'd like to see the pyramids being built. How do they do it? The destruction of Pompeii around noon on August 24th, 79 CE. Huge eruption from Mount Vesuvius showered volcanic debris over the city, followed the next day by clouds of blisteringly hot gases. Buildings were destroyed. The population was crushed or asphyxiated, and the city was buried beneath a blanket of ash and pumice. Not an event, but I'd like to see some dinosaurs. The moment the water broke through the pillars of Hercules and started to flood what is now the Mediterranean Sea. The Big Bang. The Kennedy assassination to see what really happened. I recently watched a documentary that IMO solves the mysteries of how JFK was killed. When I saw it, all the pieces came together. Unreal. The Stonewall riots. I'd love to see how our community throws bricks at cops. Live Aid. Mostly for that Queen show. Jesus' crucifixion. And Muhammad's wedding where he married a 6-year-old girl. I did not know that. Oh, man. The last days of the Revolutionary War. I couldn't imagine the mix of emotions from all sides. To see myself being born. Has your social circle shrunk as you gotten older? Why? Yes, now it's basically just me and cats. Yes, I've found I have a lower tolerance for other people's BS now. For instance, I can't stand gross-out adults having tantrums like a 2-year-old. Definitely. I used to have friends who I could count on both hands. Then one hand. Now I only need 2 or 3 fingers. I just don't really care for having many friends now, and my different anxieties and social awkwardness just don't really let me make friends. I just stay away from people. Lamau. Yes, it's because I just don't put in the effort, calling or texting, to maintain those friendships after we all went our separate ways, aka college. I don't know why, just never do. Yes, largely because of 2 reasons. Difficult to make new friends as you get older, and existing friends either move, get busy, or just grow apart. Yes, now it's just me, myself, and I. Yes, they all got married, settled down, and had kids. I didn't. Still single and child-free. I'm 42, unmarried, and no kids, so I'm in the minority at my age. Obviously, families and children come first, so yes, it has. My interests and priorities have changed as I've gotten older too, which can cause one's social circle to change and shrink. I've kept the same friends since the start of high school when I was 14. I'm 27 now, and we still talk. Started with 6, 4 of us remaining, and we're all in different places. The 2 that left got kicked out of the group for reasons, lol. You have 1 hour to grab one item to bring with you before you're sent back in time 200 years. What is it? Download a whole bunch of PDFs and books with various topics that could be useful to my laptop. We'll charge the laptop with potatoes. Plug the charger into a large potato. My copy of How to Invent Everything, Survival Guide for a Stranded Time Traveler. I've been preparing for this. A family tree. I don't want to be my own great-great-grandfather. A complete printout of Wikipedia, starting with chemistry, physics, medicine, engineerings, etc. topics. I'd probably freak out and grab a total nonsense in the last very second. God, I can't even decide which socks to wear. Probably a book of general knowledge and scientific breakthroughs specifically tailored for this exact scenario. Don't even need the hour. Already have Wikipedia and Project Gutenberg downloaded to my tablet. I'll just need to copy off USB specs and some battery chemistries. Gotta try and hit V5 as close as possible before the battery dies. A $100 bill. A history book so I can rewrite history. What is an instantly recognizable TV quote? Don't pivot, bite my shiny metal ass. I love it when a plan comes together. Say my name. Winter is coming. Oh my god, they killed Kenny! And then you guys have to go into the comments and say you bastards. Are you ready, kids? What you talking about, Willis? Legend, wait for it, dairy. Stupid Flanders. Stupid sexy Flanders for the win. I stand corrected, lol. What's something that is basic knowledge but a scary amount of people do not know? You need at least 3 seconds of space between you and the car in front of you when you're driving. That isn't space for someone to merge. That's safety space in case the car ahead has to slam on the brakes. I've had to explain to multiple people that I still have to walk the dog even if it's raining. If something is genetic, it doesn't mean your parents will have that trait too. It means that it is decided by your genes. For example, short parents can pass a tall gene to their child. Parents with blood type A can give birth to a baby who has blood type O. Antibiotics don't heal viral infections like the flu. The earth is round. Crazy we still have to say that in the Lord's year of 2023. 25% of Americans firmly believe the sun revolves around the earth. Bought and brought are not interchangeable, especially with electronic cables. The cheap brand and the expensive brand are basically the same. HDMI cables are HDMI cables. The only real difference between the store brand and the name brand is what it says on the package. You can put your grocery cart in a little corral in the parking lot so that it doesn't take up a parking space, or an employee doesn't have to go hunting for it. Yeah, put it in the goddamn corrals, you jerks. What is your favorite knock-knock joke? Knock knock, who's there? Little old lady. Little old lady who? I didn't know you could yodel. This one stuck with me. Tell your friend, hey, I have a knock-knock joke, but you need to start it. Sure, knock knock, who's there? Then just stare at them and realize there's no solution. Knock knock, hello. Oh, hi Brandon, come on in. No, this is Brandon. Brandon's not on this video, it's me. It's me, Mason Says Mason. Knock knock, who's there? Not your dad. I just say come in. It drives 6-year-olds absolutely crazy. I tell this to my boyfriend. Knock knock, who's there? You. You who? It's when I get him a yoo-hoo. He loves them but will never buy them for himself because he can't justify adding to the grocery list while trying to save money. Not a great joke, but I love his smile when he knows what's coming. That's so cute. Oh my god. I want what they have. I don't like yoo-hoo though, so we gotta figure something else out. Why did Timmy fall off the swings? He had no arms. Why did Timmy fall off his bike? Someone threw a fridge at him. Knock knock, who's there? Not Timmy, because he doesn't have arms. He probably used his feet maybe. What's the most addictive game for you? That pinball from Windows. Oh, do you mean 3D Pinball Space Cadet? That is free to download on the Windows 10 App Store? It is the exact same game as what it used to be. Red Dead Redemption 2 and its online version. Super fun. I'm really shocked no one said RuneScape or World of Warcraft, but for me personally, Teamfight Tactics. Microsoft Solitaire games. I need help, I can't stop. My partner and I woohooed last night and all I could think about was Spider Forking Solitaire. Geometry Dash. Hardest is Cataclysm. Legend of Zelda. Minecraft, lol. I recently got back into Minecraft this week after not playing for a very long time, like several months. I mean, it used to be my go-to game, and I just kind of stopped playing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. For real, Cookie Run Kingdom has me setting alarms for production times and everything. Candy Crush. If you were a Pokemon, how would the Pokedex describe you? Guys, this is right up my alley. You know the drill. Pokemon question? Mason Says Mason knows what's up. Worthless and lazy. This is the one Pokemon where it makes sense to use that release feature we programmed into the game. The mortal enemy of Celebi. This Pokemon is said to distort the very fabric of time. Some believe it is responsible for deja vu. Incredibly rare, but not strong, magical, or good at anything in particular. The Naked Ape Pokemon. Slow as Slowpoke, but can have increased speeds when exhausted. Although this Pokemon is miserable, it has moves that buff friendly Pokemon. This Pokemon easily adapts to the schedule of its trainer. Although very friendly, its mood tend to go sour really easily when things don't go its way. Releases a stinking gas every morning while snarling pointless expletives. Proceed with caution. Can be motivated to do amazing things, but most times is lazy or not feeling it, and compares its powers to others, making it sad. Hard to make friends with. Looks really cute in your box and has some fun variants, but none of them will be on your actual teams. Best used as a meat shield to the enemy's stronger moves. Switch to this Pokemon immediately if about to take a direct hit. It's all it's good for. Jeez, could you lighten up a little, kids? Good lord! What are your thoughts on bears? Bears. Beats. Battlestar Galactica. As they say, if not friend, why friend shaped? Personally not fond of smooth men, so yeah, bears for the win. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, curl up into a ball, protecting your vital areas. It will eventually see you as no threat and leave. If it's white, you might as well just pray to your gods. Can I hug it? Corollary. More than once? They are cute and cuddly, although they would tear me to pieces. If not for hugging and petting, then why are they shaped like that? On a serious note, polar bears scare me. They're on my do not fork with that animal list. They're so cool. I find them so fascinating. I think polar bears are one of the most awesomely terrifying animals on the planet. Stuffed ones are pretty cute. Real ones are pretty scary. They do wonders for keeping the libertarians under control. Bearable. I like them when they're made of gummy. When someone says video games are childish or not art, which video game do you bring up as a counterpoint? I don't bring up any games. Usually I just point out how something they enjoy is similar. You're right, Bob. Just like professional football is grown men playing a children's game. Kind of sad, really. That's how you get them. I know it's not for everyone, but you'd be surprised how many people change their tone when you express your passion and interest for something. I just embrace my nerdiness and accept that not everyone will, and they don't have to, understand. Okami is super beautiful. I don't. I just figure out something they like and meaninglessly insult it too. I don't, because this is a tired argument that I'm done fighting with close-minded people over. Animation is not just for kids, games can be art, and your friends online are just as real as the ones next door. Leave me alone. Red Dead Redemption 2. That game is a master class in immersion. I try not to argue with the uneducated in the first place. Life is strange. Ghost of Tsushima is my therapy. Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5 for childish. Pretty they'll scream. And for not art. Basically any good indie game. They're just so beautiful and so unique. I don't bring up a counterpoint. Anybody that ignorant isn't going to have their mind changed. If you don't understand art, someone showing you the Mona Lisa is not magically going to magically change your mind. This is very much a cool story bro moment. Your inability to understand it is not a valid argument against it. Fave TV show right now? Shrinking. Community. Very rewatchable, and I always catch a new detail. Been really enjoying Kingdom. There are some meaningfully brutal zombies. South Park. I'm rewatching Monster since it came to Netflix. Still one of the best animes I've ever seen. I've been rewatching Reign and Mad Men. Probably The Last of Us or Rick and Morty. The Mandalorian. The newest season is moving the plot forward in a way that doesn't just make me excited for next week, but also for the entire franchise. One Piece. Despite the delays in pacing, I'm really enjoying the current arc. Curb Your Enthusiasm or Always Sunny. What do you think is the best Spider-Man film and why? Correct answer is, of course, Into the Spider-Verse, but we'll see what everyone else has to say, huh? No Way Home, just because his goal was to help the villains and not just send them back. Spider-Verse, for obvious reasons. Hell yeah, so true. Spider-Verse, nothing else comes close. Still gotta go with Spider-Man 2 of the Raimi series. Doc Ock, the subway scene, the final battle with Doc Ock, it's just too good. Amazing Spider-Man 2, always will be. It understood the character, his strengths and weaknesses, and what he means to people, plus it nailed the swinging. That's a wrong answer. Amazing Spider-Man 2, chemistry between Garfield and Stone was off the charts. Plot was intricate. All characters had solid backstories and character complexities that made them who they were. They weren't just an extension of Spider-Man. Garfield brought a lot of movement and theatrically to Spider-Man as a character that Maguire didn't have. It was also less campy than Maguire's, and the jokes didn't feel as forced as they did in Holland's. Electro is an insanely underrated villain, and Harry Osborn didn't have a redemption arc. He didn't deserve one in the OG series. Soundtrack was chilling compared to others, and Gwen's death and the aftermath were unexpected and absolutely tear-jerking. The whole subplot with the kid was a nice touch. The first one, it had everything. The backstory, the character development, the skeleton bombs. Willem. I like No Way Home. All three Spider-Man actors together is such a cool thing to see. The one on Pornhub, because it has boob No other reason. Spider-Man 3, just for that scene where he is strutting down the street thinking he all that. Early 2000s trilogy for nostalgia regions was the trilogy of my teen years. Guys, very controversial opinion here, and I'm sorry if I ruffle some feathers. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was the worst. It was so not great. The villains are what made the movies though. Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man was not good. From start to finish, what is the best video game you've ever played? The Witcher 3, RDR2, 100%. Honestly, I think Breath of the Wild is truly a contender. Even so, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy IX, and Super Metroid are my personal favorites. The Last of Us. Yeah, but I rage quit a dozen times. Pokemon Emerald. I haven't played many video games. The only story game I really ever played and loved was Halo Reach, the Mass Effect series, and Skyrim. Minecraft. It just gives you unlimited possibilities to do whatever you want. Final Fantasy VII Remake. The OG Halo on the first Xbox. Those of you who have no inner dialogue, what goes on in your head? I sometimes have an inner dialogue, but usually it's faster to think with pictures and abstract concepts. Same as you minus a voice or whatever, just processing whatever task I'm doing. So you guys have a voice that like speaks to you? Never really understood what an internal dialogue is. Should I hear a voice when I read? Interesting answers in this thread. Am I the only one who both visualize and have a dialogue? Like, if I'm doing maths or just reasoning about something, I speak to myself with a voice. If I try to remember a certain event, what was written on a store, logos, or such, I see the pictures or video of it in my head. I can also imagine things I have no relation to with shapes and images of how I think it might look. I'm dialoguing all the time. Most of the time, it's as though I'm talking to myself in the third person. My mind will be like, Corey Mom, chill TF out, or let's get out of the house. Picture equals inner dialogue. Someone else's inner dialogue, nothing. Literally nothing. In exams, nothing. Walking through the street, nothing. Listening to music, nothing. Showering, nothing. I'm not even thinking while writing this. What is your most useless achievement? Winning races with people who don't know we're racing. Completing all the achievements for Power Wash Simulator. I guess the precise number of things in a giant jar twice at different baby showers. Safety pins and pearl chocolates. Can't remember what I won except for a bunch of WTFs from people. Convincing most of the people in my previous neighborhood to refer to the unnamed park next to our house as my last name park. They still do to this day as well. Being approved for a crippling amount of student loan debt. I once hit the maximum amount of friends on Facebook before I deleted and started fresh. Scrolled 1 billion bananas, SBU, in Reddit recap last year. I once won an award in middle school for not being heard or spotted swearing at all. Hey, good for you. Good for you. I hit a hole-in-one on Wii Sports Golf. I still think about that day often, 15 years later. I found about 100 word that you could write on an upside-down calculator. The longest word was bobsleigh, 461315808. That's really cool. Dude, I memorized 400 digits of pi. Well done. Eating a rock thinking it was a brownie. First comment on this post. 100% on Skyrim. Not mine, but my brother's. He was the state bagging champion when he was 16 and worked at a grocery store. What do you think Nicolas Cage is doing right now? He is thinking about the unbearable weight of his massive talent right now. Asking a question about himself from his burner account in a subreddit. Sleeping likely. Debating if a carrot is an ingredient or a dish with a carrot. I believe this with all my being. Fight me. Shagging. Do you guys think Nick Cage fucks? Do you guys think he gets, I don't know if he's married, but do you guys think he gets around? Like, be honest. Oh, I'm so tired. It's fucking 4 a.m. right now. I need to go to bed. Worshipping Satan. Watching Paddington 2. Some action-packed stuff. Not thinking about what you're doing right now. Counting all of his money. What is the worst thing you ever tasted by accident? I took a swig of my brother's Chew Spit can once by accident because I thought it was my beer. Guys, I really don't want to throw up. But I'm trying not to. I accidentally drank spoiled milk once. It was the most disgusting thing ever. I mixed my cat's wet food with a spoon and had my bowl of ice cream in a spoon right next to it. I did not grab the correct one. I took a swig of OJ from a carton in the fridge, not realizing there was a nice layer of mold on top. Buttermilk thinking it was regular milk. Best and worst at once. Automotive antifreeze, like liquid sugar that burns. Accidental spray, not deliberate drink. In 7th grade, we dissected a sheep's eyeball. I didn't properly wash my hands, so after eating chips and licking the chili off my fingers, I tasted the most sour, nastiest thing in my life. Head lice shampoo. How, lol? I got head lice from babysitting kids with lice, and as I was washing my hair with the shampoo, I guess I used too much, because it was all running down my face and was all in my mouth and eyes. Now it was horrible. Tasted so bad, I was rinsing my mouth with shower water, but taste just lingered. A metallic green gel pen in 3rd grade. If we were all back on MySpace, what would be your profile song? I feel like people, like, the profile song on MySpace would be the same as what people who use Tinder have their anthem set as. I feel like they're the same same thing. Damn it, Blink-182. Alice in Chains, Nutshell Live Unplugged. Running Up That Hill, Kate Bush. Skater Boy, because funny. STFU by Filthy Frank / Pink Guy. An original piece about dental confetti. What subscription is worth every penny? In the 1990s, Rolling Stone magazine offered lifetime subscriptions for $50. I got it, and I still get them for free every month. When I move, I fill out a change of address form, and they keep sending them to the new residents. Over 25 years so far. I got an AARP membership at age 24. Has literally saved me thousands of dollars in random deals. Cruises, plane tickets, restaurant discounts, senior kickbacks on car rentals, golf memberships, hotel and casino comps, monthly discounts on cell phone. Been over 18 years. $288 in membership fees has saved me over $15,000 overall. My Circle K drink subscription. I get my thermos full of coffee every morning. They have all the stuff I need for said coffee. It's brewed fresh into your cup. Cost me $10 a month. Less than what I'd spend to make it in the morning at home. The store is also right in front of my bus stop. We pay for it with taxes and not a subscription fee, but I'm gonna say a library card. Not the question. You're not responding to the question. I don't know why you managed to even post this. Access to all of the books in most of the magazines in the world. Tons of databases, learning resources, a nice cozy place to work, study, or read. My dad got a family Spotify account years ago that allows us to link 4 accounts over numerous devices, and the kicker is, it was a special unlimited deal in the fairly early days of Spotify, so it was for €60 total per year. So for the past number of years, I've been paying €15 per year to have Spotify Premium, and it's honestly been the best value I've had for anything in my life. Even then, I'd still pay the full price if I had to for the service. I think it's just that good. I once bought a Groupon deal to a burger bar in my neighborhood. It was $144 for 1 free burgers and fries every day for a year. You could select from a list of like 10 burgers plus the rotating burgers of the week. I made my money back in like 3 weeks. Costco or Sam's Club memberships. Even if you don't step foot in their stores, you're still saving 20 to 30 cents per gallon on their gas, which means you'll make back that membership cost plus more in a year. Duolingo. By using it every day, I've acquired some self-confidence with my Spanish, sentence structure, conversation, etc. Just don't forget your lesson, Spanish or vanish. Does therapy count? It's not a subscription, so no. My neighbor's internet. I love it when they don't put passwords on it. What book did you read in school that you would never want your child to read? A Day No Pigs Would Die. I read it in the 7th grade, and it still affects me in my mid-30s. Life is already sad enough. Dianetics or Anything Else by L. Ron Hubbard. A Day No Pigs Would Die was pretty rough in 6th grade. Basically Charlotte's Web with hauntingly graphic depictions of animal husbandry and slaughter. I don't remember getting a lot of value out of it at 11 years old, just pig blood soaked nightmares. Advanced Mathematics. A lesson book on calculus. Now that's hell. Maybe this isn't the question, but I read A Child Called It as an elementary age child. I bought it at the school's Scholastic Book Fair and was maybe 9 years old. Why on earth they thought that was an appropriate book for small children to be purchasing and reading, I will never know. The 90s were a trip. I know it's weak, but the ending to Of Mice and Men really messed up my 13-year-old brain. It wasn't that bad. You're being weak, little baby man, little baby man, little baby man. The Scarlet Letter, that stuff was a grind. I love to read, but I wanted to claw my eyes out so I could stop reading it. Shakespeare, not because it's bad, but because it's not really meant to be read. It's a performance. You're supposed to watch it. None. Children should be exposed to all kinds of books, age appropriate, to expand their minds and challenge their perceptions. I totally agree. Lots of books I found kind of sucked or were boring, but that is no reason to want to prevent my own kid from reading it. The kid might actually like it. Not a mirror image of me, after all. The age appropriate part isn't all that much of a concern for me, though. Vocabulary and density of prose tend to be good filters of that. The Kite Runner. My dad saw me pick that up at a bookstore when I was in the 7th grade, and he said no. I wasn't allowed to read that till I got older. Me being the rebellious little shirt I was, convinced my friend to buy it, and we took turns reading it. Yeah, that book is not for kids. I learned some things that day. Yeah, if I remember correctly, the Kite Runner has like 2 young boys having unconsensual intercourse from one of them, to put it in the most suitable for advertiser way possible. Not great. What is one food you swear people only pretend they like? Gold leaf. I too like to eat money. Fish eyes. Yuck. Some answers in here would be solved with spices, sauce, condiments, etc. I like spicy food. I don't know if I'm pretending or enjoy torture. Sparkling water. That stuff tastes like TV static. Depends on the one you get. If you get like a LaCroix or a bubbly, they're really bad, but I've had one, it's like Target brand strawberry lemonade sparkling water. It tastes good. It's like actual flavor. It's not like somebody whispered the name of the flavor into the water. It's actually flavored water, and it's really good. I'm scanning some of the replies, and I swear that many people haven't had the ingredient in high quality even even once in their life, or they are preparing it in the wrong way, like people who try sauerkraut and cook it in a pot of water. Vegemite. An entire country has the world convinced that they like it, and I have never believed it. Lutefisk. Lima beans. People who attend their high school reunion, what was the biggest surprise? Back in high school, there was one girl who was extremely popular, extremely pretty, and seemed totally unapproachable from my vantage point. She was also really catty, embodying a lot of the mean girl stereotypes. Talking with her at the reunion, it turned out that she was very insecure and had very tenuous home life, for which she was compensating, and now she is extremely kind, full of gratitude, and just really down to earth. I love seeing that sort of change in people. Recently went to my 40th, a bunch of old people showed up. The last I ever heard of my high school reunion was in an alumni newsletter. I was listed as missing, with a request for anyone who knew how to contact me to contact the alumni organization. The newsletter was sent to my house. I'm trying not to take it personally. You should take it personally. That I couldn't remember anyone. Everyone remembered me because I was the freak in high school, and people kept coming up to me and being like, "Science forbid, it's so great to see you." And I kept having to run to the wall where they'd plastered blown up yearbook photos to figure out who the frick anybody was. This is really daunting for me. Like, I don't think I'd ever go to a high school reunion from here, from my high school, because our high school graduating class, everyone hated each other for no reason. Even from middle school up to senior year, people were fighting all the time, like physical fighting. I don't understand it. We all hated each other. It was so weird. How incredibly differently people have aged. My 10th was in 2020, presumably. It was canceled because I didn't hear anything about it. At the 10-year, one guy who had been a kind of nerd and on the bowling team was now part of a wacky morning DJ crew on one of the more popular radio stations in New York City, and came in with big hair and dressed like a rock star. Everyone looked old, then I realized I was old. The people who made fun of me for my weight were now fat, divorced, and barely making it. I lost weight in college, got married to a wonderful man, and have great kids. And in the end, they thought they were still better than me. Yes, I found irony. You tell them, Susan! Hell yeah! My 7th grade crush, the smartest girl in class, was still single, and when I asked her what she likes to do for fun in Chicago, she said party. We were 48 years old. I got a lot of apologies from bullies. In high school, I was kind of weird and insecure, definitely didn't have any direction or purpose or confidence. By the time I went to my 5-year or 6-year reunion, I forget which, I'd run and held office, been covered in the major local newspaper, and was dating a really hot woman. I remember walking in and having all these guys who thought I was a dweeb and who bullied me, and they all basically said the same thing. Damn, man, you've grown. What is your worst roommate story? My first college roommate never did laundry. For dates, he'd borrow my clean underwear, even though I clearly told him to leave my junk alone, and return them dirty, unwashed afterwards. Disgusting. Ew. What? Senior year of boarding school, my roommate stole my prescription Adderall, oxys from getting my wisdom teeth out, and alcohol I had hidden in a chest under my bed while I was away for the weekend. She ended up overdosing and then told the school I gave it all to her. I got suspended, lost my scholarship for the remainder of the semester, and almost had my college acceptance rescinded. I was renting a 3-bedroom apartment with another girl and a guy I knew from university. Guy ended up killing my pet rabbit because he was jealous of the time I spent with it. If you're reading this, Mike, f*** you. My roommate was upset at me and got 4 pet ferrets. Ugh, the smell, man. The smell. Housemate brought her mom and they tried to perform an exorcism on me. What? How are people like this? I don't know. Freshman year of college, I had a roommate who would get high on ecstasy with her BF and come back to our dorm room and bone while I was also in the dorm room. She also listened to Bass Hunter nonstop and had up-close pictures of her own eyeballs all over the room. Wow, that is weird. Had a roommate that was so long on the toilet, I shat myself. Probably me. I'm sorry. My roommate moved out and left the state while I was at work 2 days before the COVID lockdowns. Both our names were on the lease, so I was stuck paying the entire rent. She was also my best friend from college. Never paid the bills, never cleaned, never throw away his expired food, and never did he buy household supplies. And his mother used to send him a lot of cabbage pasta. What is cabbage pasta? Is it pasta made from cabbage? Or is that a dish? I don't know. I had a roommate in college who found out she had a tumor in her throat a few months after going into remission, after her thyroid cancer was treated. After she broke the news to all of us, my other roommate decided to make up a story about how she had cancer as a child and almost died. The entire story was fake. What actor is a 10 out of 10 in every movie they've ever been in? Philip Seymour Hoffman. Complete human transformation in every role. His death is a huge loss to the art form of acting. Gary Oldman seldom disappoint. Sam Rockwell. Christoph Waltz. J.K. Simmons. Movies, TV, and video games. Willem Dafoe, for sure. You mean Willem Dafoe, for show. How the hell has no one mentioned Robin Williams? That man gave 100% towards every movie he was ever in. Yes, a lot were silly and goofy, but even his more serious roles were friggin' magical. That man shaped an entire generation of film and is a titan that will never be replaced. Cate Blanchett, she just holds me in a trance whenever she's on screen. Gene Hackman is a supreme actor. Denzel Washington. Helena Bonham Carter, always 10 of 10. Never disappoints. She does crazy really well. Joaquin Phoenix, he only takes 1 role per decade, but he nails it. Helen Mirren. Alan Rickman. Morgan Freeman. He just kind of does his thing. Toni Collette. Also, there's not enough women on this list. They're actors too. What is something that you feel people need to stop doing? Littering. Definitely. There's just no excuse for that because every child feels and understands that this is just the wrong thing to do to our environment. Playing the victim when they know they're in the wrong. Having phone on speaker while on public transport. Nobody needs to hear the convo. Lying. Going out of their way just to hurt others. We all have our issues. No one pays you to make more of them. Hating on everything. Stop being negative. Making their opinions law. The oppression Olympics and making assumptions about people based off their immutable characteristics. Put every thought on social media. Scrolling. Gatekeeping and one-upping. Not just with fandoms and music, but also with emotions and bad/good things. Just because your bad thing was worse than mine doesn't mean I can't be upset about it. People handle things differently. What is your favorite Simpsons quote of all time? I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now I'm with isn't it anymore, and what's it seems weird and scary. It'll happen to you. I'm 40 years old, and truer words have never been spoken. Marge, I'm not gonna lie to you. Walks away without saying another word. No one who speaks German could be an evil man. Bart, this is the worst day of my life. Homer, this is the worst day of your life so far. Bake him away, toys. Dental plan. Lisa needs braces. Flanders, well, I guess this is just a case where we'll have to agree to disagree. Skinner, I don't agree to that. Crabapple, neither do I. Just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand. If something's hard to do, then it's not worth doing. You have 24 hours to give us your money, and to show you were serious, you have 12 hours. Can't someone else do it? If animals could talk, which species would be the rudest of them all? Geese. This is the obvious answer. We knew this. We hate geese. Still us. Right. Don't challenge me. Cat. Hands down. Seagulls. Steal your food, fly by talking, then dropping actual on your head as they leave. Squirrels. They are quick to talk The hippo. Sloths. Behind those smiling faces is a big FU. Small yapping dogs. They are already rude and annoying. Cockroaches. Think of those worms in Men in Black. Chimpanzees. They already have the body language. Swans. What has outlived its usefulness? Pennies. That's so true. That's so true. We don't need pennies anymore. All the dinosaurs in politics. Daylight savings. Social media. Daylight savings. It's useless. When there's a global low daylight crisis, who's gonna be laughing then? It's prepping us for a brighter future. Hey, I see what you did there. TV news. Me, probably. Flip phones. Facebook. The appendix. Cash money. Writing in cursive. But why? Okay, PM me your tasteful nudes. Whatever, dude. What problem can't be solved with money? Chronic depression or chronic pant-shitting. Aging. Just freeze yourself. Or you could take the Madonna route and get Botox and look awful. Being crushed by money. Inflation. Time. World hunger, evidently. It's not the money that's the problem. It's the horrible people who have most of the money, not willing to spend it on other people who need to eat or don't have homes or have diseases they can't cure or afford to cure. That's not the money's fault. It's the unethical, immoral billionaires that riddle this world. They are the disease. Small pee-pee. There's literally pills for that. Lack of time. Health, unless you're Magic Johnson. South Park did a whole episode about that. What TV series can you rewatch and never get bored of? Community. Futurama. Modern Family and New Girl. Avatar. The Last Airbender. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Parks and Rec. Scrubs. How I Met Your Mother. 6 Feet Under. The Office. It said not get bored. I think you read the prompt wrong because The Office is the most boring show I've ever seen. The Big Bang Theory. Breaking Bad. How did you become happy? Acceptance. Accepting situations is the first step. Stop giving a shit. It's hard at first, then it gets easier. Stop chasing people who didn't want to be caught. Also, dropping people who bring no value to your life. Stop the one-sided friendships. Happiness is a byproduct of meaning and purpose. Working out nearly every day. Finding friends that care about me. Eating healthy. No addictions. Loving family. Enjoying life. My dog makes me happy, but I had to be happy to start with before I got the dog. Stoicism. Family, and the realization that all I have today was once all I ever dreamed for in a very bad period of my life. Helps me stay grateful. No. Divorce. Joke's on you, I didn't. Realize that happiness is not a goal if misery isn't anyone's goal. Then why is happiness treated as a goal? What's a phrase you roll your eyes at? Made a 360-degree change. We're more than a company, we're a family. Oh, brother, this guy stinks! I've done my own research. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. It is almost never what everyone is thinking. You just want to be an asshole. Read my post again. I didn't fail to understand you, I failed to agree with you. I'm just a brutally honest person. No, you're just being a bitch. Just because you have an opinion doesn't mean you need to voice it. Sorry, not sorry. You should smile more often. My truth. My truth is just another way of saying my opinion. IYKYK. I'm old. What does that mean? If you know, you know. What fictional character says the best insults? Bender. Gunnery. Sergeant Hartman in Full Metal Jacket. Bugs Bunny. He actually coined the term Nimrod to ironically refer to the idiot hunter Elmer Fudd. Nimrod was actually a great hunter in the Bible. House from House MD. Archer. Surprisingly, a lot of roles Betty White played. President Selena Meyer Meyer from Veep. Daria definitely had some very witty ones. Ace Ventura, Lois Einhorn. How long would you like me to make your life a living hell? Ace Ventura, I'm not ready for a relationship right now. Squidward. Deadpool. Saul Goodman is pretty high on that list. What is the most quotable movie ever? The Big Lebowski. Forrest Gump. Anchorman. Dumb and Dumber. Hey, you guys want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? I'm not subscribed to Ask EmKay on YouTube. Oh, what was that? If you don't want to sound like the most annoying sound in the world, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's free, and you can always change your mind later. But why would you? That'd make you more annoying again. Mean Girls. Pulp Fiction. Shrek. Back to the Future. Scarface. Borat. What have you Googled way too many times? Temperature to cook meat. I don't care how many times I've looked it up. I can't remember that stuff. If blank is okay for dogs to eat. Yeah. I do this all the time. I love giving my dogs food, but only if it's healthy for them. At home, me and my family, we have 6 dogs. So I be Googling this often. Definitions of simple everyday words to see if I'm using them right in a sentence. Effect versus effect every time. What TFW means, and other such acronyms. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. How to center a div. Synonyms for words. I did this a lot when I was coming up with names for the Pokemon in my Fakemon region, at Torazone region, by the way. Shameless plug. If you like Pokemon and you like me, you'll like this project I'm working on. It's Twitter and Instagram at Torazone region. And yeah, I needed synonyms for a lot of different words. And so this might be my most Googled thing of last year and this year. Immediately. There you go. My city's trash pickup schedule, Lamau. Reality show contestants and where they are now. Questions of LGBTQA topics. I'm doing my best to educate myself on the topics. Why does this have a downvote? This is awesome of you to educate yourself on the topics. Why does it have a downvote? That's so weird. That's a weird thing to do. What ice cream flavor is the superior flavor? Cookies and cream. Pistachio. More like pistachino. What? Butter pecan. Mint choc chip. I can't understand why people like this. Those are some fighting words, son. Lol, JK. Vanilla, of course. I like vanilla. It's the finest of the flavors. Depends on the vanilla. I think if it's a really good French vanilla, oh yeah, I love French vanilla. But like country vanilla, where the ice cream is like more yellow than it is white, no. Ew. Chocolate remains the best. You can invent any weird flavor you want, but chocolate is still the best choice. Coffee. Rocky Road. Here for Rocky. Raspberry Ripple. Rum Raisin. A classic chocolate flavor. Bruh. Cheese. Just ask a Filipino. Cookie dough, definitely. Hokey pokey. Mocha chip. It's clearly the most superior. Being ultimately a matter of personal taste and opinion, this is a dumb question. Well, you're a dumb, mean person. Let people talk about things they want to be passionate about, whether it be ice cream or what. For me, my favorite ice cream flavor is specifically Bluebell branded banana pudding ice cream. It's banana ice cream with vanilla wafers in it. So good. I could not think of a better ice cream.